Alrighty. We're live. So, let's see. I know one thing that's gonna be, there's no tomorrow episode. Friday I'm gonna be kind of busy, so there isn't gonna be a live Friday show and stuff. One thing that's kind of insane is the media. Now, like, the fears meat shortages and stuff, which is kind of crazy. So, anyway, today's episode we're going to be doing the back-to-the-back issues. I got 4 books. I decided, yesterday I was going through, my comics. I was just kind of bored out of my mind, and, pretty much, when you're stuck in your house, held hostage. You can't go anywhere. You can't go to the stores or anything. You can. You go to Walmart and shit, but you can't go to bookstores and comic shops. You're pretty much, you're gonna be sitting around, really doing nothing. Besides working out and getting on the bike, which I did. When I woke up, I decided to get on the bike, and and I found this new YouTube channel, Ghost of Carmel, Maine. I think that's what it's called. The Shadow Dude. And it was really interesting just sitting there watching, getting on the bike and watching it, and just sort of going, it's really, it's really interesting. It's a really interesting show. I've been watching a lot of shows lately. Hello. Oh, good luck. Thank you, love. Anyway, I had to go see what Lola was doing. Since yesterday, that cat's been up to no good. So, anyway, so I discovered something yesterday on Twitter. I was on Twitter. And a lot of people got mad at Rob Liefeld. I like Rob Liefeld, Am I the biggest Deadpool fan? No. I'll be honest with you, I'm not a Deadpool fan. I seen Deadpool 2. Honestly, don't really care about Deadpool. And I know a lot of people are like, well, you're into dark, serious comic book films and stuff. Yes and no, but I'm not a big Deadpool fan. I played the video game Deadpool, and I really enjoyed it, actually. It's on the list of best video games, best superhero video games. Of course, the top 3 are the Arkham trilogy, because I Arkham City's number 1. Arkham Asylum number 2. Ultimate Spider-Man, I'd say, is number 3, because I really like Ultimate Spider-Man video game. It was back when I used to be a Spider-Man fan. I'll put Arkham Knight number 4, Deadpool number 5, so it's on the top 5 superhero video games I really like. It's one of those, like, I enjoyed the humor, the wackiness, like, and stuff, and it's a travesty that they never made a Deadpool 2 video game. So it's one of those video games that was so good that they should have made a sequel. It's like Brutal Legend. I fucking love Brutal Legend. Like, Brutal Legend was the shits, man. Like, you had like Ozzy Osbourne, you had Lemmy Kilmister, you had Lita Ford. You had a lot of cool fucking, heavy metal people in it. Ozzy Osbourne was I love Ozzy in that game. That video game, he was just he didn't give no shits. It was a really cool, like, Jack Black, of course, like, hearing Jack Black do the voice and, of course, doing the intro, like, you could tell, like, he had a lot of fun doing this video game. Like, you could tell, like, that dude just had a lot of fun just going and, doing stuff, and it's the same way, as Deadpool. It's like, it deserved a sequel, like, in my opinion. Like, it deserved a sequel. Like, I played it, I really, really enjoyed it. The music, of course, was the shits, it was really awesome. And I love how they sort of poke fun at, like, glam rock. Tim Curry did the voice of the main, the bad guy, the final boss. So Tim Curry was in it, which was fucking awesome. Like, I remember, like, hearing him talk, and I didn't even know Tim Curry was in it. I was just like, that's Tim Curry. Because Tim Curry sort of had that, like, that voice, that unique voice, like Alan Rickman. But Tim Curry could do voice, cartoony voices and stuff. But when I heard him laugh, I was like, that is Tim Curry. So, like, it's really cool. Like, every time I watch a Tim Curry performance and stuff, I sort of, like, ask the question of, like, what if he did the Joker in the Burton Batman film? Like, what if Jack Nicholson didn't do it? Like, what if Tim Curry did it? Like, how would that go? Or, Tim Curry was in consideration of playing the Joker in '89 Batman and doing the voice in the animated series. He actually did the voice. They actually recorded it, which was weird. Like, they recorded it, but didn't decide to not go with him as the Joker. But instead, they got Mark Hamill to do the Joker. And I wish they would just release it, like an audio of it. Or, like, put together the episode and replace Hamill's voice with Tim Curry's voice, like an alternative episode. Because I always wonder, like, what did Tim Curry sound like as the Joker? Like, how would have that go? Like, that's always one of those what if moments. And it sucks, like, they didn't. It's kind of like when the Batman, like, I think the '89 Batman, they released, like, concept art and script of Dick Grayson's appearance in Batman, which they cut, which was really cool. Like, they had Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill do the voice, which was kind of cool, you know. Like, I really thought that was really cool. Here's a question on Twitter. What was the other superhero games you like? Justice League Heroes, I really liked. That was a pretty cool one. Justice League Heroes is like, I haven't played that in like years. I haven't played in years. I really liked it. Like, I remember, it was one of those video games, oddly enough, that did not have DLC content. Like, it was in the game. Like, if you beat up so many X amount of villains, like, you had enough points, like, unlock the costumes and stuff. And I remember they had, like, for Batman, they had, like, 70s Batman. Of course, you know, the Neil Adams, I think. The blue and yellow bat symbol, the blue and gray. The light blue and gray, not the dark blue, but they had Batman Beyond, which had a cape. I remember playing that. I was so confused. Like it was called like Future Batman, and it was like the solid black, the red bat symbol, and all that. Like, and the mask covered the mouth and all that. Like, it was really a cool, badass concept. I got to share a photo of it. It was like really odd looking. Like, when you look at it, it was a really odd looking costume. Like, I didn't understand it. Let me find it. Like, I know they had to have it on Google Images. Like, I haven't played it in years, so I have to find it. Like, I remember, like, the one video game that honestly, in my opinion, had, like, the best, like, interpretation of Batman Beyond was Arkham. Arkham City, Arkham Knight, and Legos. I mean, Legos always gets everything right. Legos always does get everything right and correct. So, it was a really interesting concept. So, anyway, Rob Liefeld, yeah, he had controversy. Like, he blocked somebody, and I remember seeing it. I just sort of was like, yeah, it's Rob Liefeld being Rob Liefeld, you know. Can't really criticize him or anything. It's just who Rob Liefeld is. So, I think it was over Gambit. It was over Gambit. Like, I sort of like laughed at it. It was just like, it was over like the casting of Gambit. Like, somebody asked Liefeld what he would think of that, and he was just like, it kind of stupid or something, and everybody's like, shut up, Rob, and the guy who told him to shut up was like, his bio said like Christ follower. Liefeld, you know, blocked #Christ follower. Like, yeah. Anyway, a lot of big news is happening for Iron Man. Dan Slott, who blocked me on Twitter, announces his series exit from Iron Man. Wish I would have known that, but I couldn't. I'm blocked by him, so Dan Slott, of course, did Spider-Man for like years and stuff, and it got to like so bad, and I think after Bendis left, Slott took over what Bendis was doing. I think it was either Fantastic Four or Iron Man. I forget. Like, I know Bendis did X-Men. Like, he of course ruined X-Men. You know, like, and now he's ruined Superman. So, anyway, this one story interests me. It came yesterday, and I wish I would have saw it, and I would have talked about it. Smallville came up. Your voice is hot. Thank you, love. Smallville came up. How Batman finally jumped into the show's world. While Batman didn't appear during the Smallville TV run, The Dark Knight did appear in the comics. Here's what happened. Over a 10-season run, Smallville introduced viewers to the heroes from all over the DC universe. However, by the time the series concluded its run on TV, one noble hero hadn't appeared: Bruce Wayne / Batman. That doesn't mean Batman never met Smallville's Clark Kent Superman, though following the series' end, DC published Smallville Season 11 by Brian Q. Miller and Pierre Perez. I remember reading the comics. It's kind of weird though. I had all the comics and I just didn't. I don't know what. I think I ended up loaning it to somebody and they did not give it back. And ever since then, I was just like, I ain't loaning shit to nobody. Yeah, I remember when the comics started. Like, mind you, I was a big, Smallville fan. Like, now I haven't watched the show since the Nexium incident. For those who don't know, I talked about it before. It was Allison Mack, who played Chloe in Smallville, Clark Kent's best friend, ended up being a second in command of a sex cult and trafficking women and stuff. She basically went batshit crazy to the point where everybody, she wasn't the only one who was in it. The guy who played Zod was a part of it. Kirsten Cook was a part of it, who introduced Allison Mack into it. Basically, Allison Mack went fucking nuts. She went fucking crazy. Like, to the point where even Tom Cruise looks sane and normal. And Tom Cruise is part of Scientology. Him, Travolta, they believe an intergalactic being captured aliens, froze them, carbonite froze them, dropped them into a volcano. Their souls and beings came out and inhabited humans, and people have to go through these, levels and courses to get rid of that that alien being and go clear. Okay? That's fucking crazy, yes. But it actually looks much normal when and this is I read this before. I read this before of like one person who was like really into Nexium. And even to the point where I was just like, what the fuck? Type thing. Was this this is true, alright? I know it's not funny, but I found it kind of fucked up and funny at the same time. Was this woman talked about, she was in a, teaching lessons with Keith Raniere, and Allison Mack was there. Somehow it was like a high paid course And she was asking, like, how can she cleanse herself to be a better human being and all that. And Rhaenyra basically said he had to come on her face. And so she could wipe it in her skin and be cleansed and be better. I remember reading that going like, what the fuck is this shit? And I just sat there going like, this shit is stupid. Like, people pay money to be a better individual. And this shit is what they're paying for. Like, I just sat there going like, you know, L. Ron Hubbard might have been a crazy person, but he became a millionaire off of a stupid-ass religion. Something that people paid money to believe in. You know, and I'm not saying all religion's stupid. I'm a Christian. I am, proud of my religion and faith. I'm not a good person half the time. I mean, I am, but, I'm not perfect as many. I'm not perfect like Pure Flex perfect. Alright? I'm not perfect like the Hallmark, family movie perfect. I'm a person who has flaws, and that's what's perfect about being a human being, is you have flaws and you can overcome them, But if you sign up for Scientology or Jehovah's Witness or Mormonism, you're not really the brightest light bulb in the world. Yeah. So, anyway, back to Smallville. In addition to introducing some of the characters who weren't possible on network television, like Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, the series also brought in Batman. And this is how it's different for the Batman in this one, alright? First appearing in the second story arc titled Detective, Batman, Barbara Gordon / Nightwing go to Metropolis in search of his parents' killer. Taking the name Dark Knight literally, Batman sports more of an armor, almost medieval looking, that feels right at home. With aesthetics established in the show, Batman is portrayed as an older, more experienced crime fighter than Clark Kent. Similar to how the JSA already existed within the television series continuity. I remember seeing their version of Batman, and I didn't know what to think when I saw the look of the character. I didn't know how to look at it. Like he his face is covered. Like, he kind of looks like it looked like apparently the artist who drew Batman sort of incorporated the mixture of Christian Bale's Batman with Batman Beyond into one. And I mean, it's better than the hockey pads and the goalie mask. It was better than that. We will read the Miller script, alright? I'm just trying to avoid it. I read the Miller script and my brain hurt. It kind of reminded me of it reminded me of John Peters. John Peters, the guy who produced Batman Returns. Then they got rid of him because everybody didn't want to put up with the shit. And he went on to like buy the Superman rights from Alexander and Elian Solkine, who produced the Christopher Reeves Batman. Christopher Reeves Superman. Sorry, I'm on Batman apparently. The Christopher Reeves Superman, Supergirl, Superboy. Yeah, those were basically the ones. I don't think he. The Solkines did produce those. Peters ended up buying it, and he and Warner Brothers decided to produce another Superman film. And of course, Peters, they brought in different writers, and Kevin Smith came in. Kevin Smith told the most hilarious and amazing story, which I'm surprised he never made into a movie, about a writer and an eccentric producer, and they're trying to work on a superhero film. Like, I would love to see that in a movie. That would be an amazing film, by the way. Like, imagine, like, a writer, like, a writer played by... I'm trying to think of an actor, like... who would be great for it? To play the writer, the young up-and-coming... the writer who made a film, indie film, and... not an actual writer, but like an actor who could play a writer who made an indie film. Now he's working on a big superhero film. Grant Gustin. We'll just put Grant Gustin as his writer. And all of a sudden he has to work with this producer. And I would honestly... a producer who's like John Peters, I would honestly have to say John Travolta would have to play this eccentric, crazy producer. Like, I know a lot of people shit on John Travolta because he's John Travolta. But John Travolta could play some crazy, kooky characters at times. Like the movie Michael, where he played the angel, based on, the archangel Michael who fought Lucifer and cast him out of heaven, and stuff. And Michael, of course, the angel, comes to Earth, and he smokes cigarettes. He likes dancing. He likes fighting a bull and stuff. Like, it was a really good film. I really loved it. It was like one of my favorite films when I was a kid. Like, I thought it was so hilarious, and I always thought, like, man, it'd be funny though if the archangel Michael is really like the one that was in the movie. I would want to hang out with him. And the thing I loved about it was Edith from All in the Family was in it. And I love the actress who played Edith in All in the Family, because she was so funny, and she looked like the nicest person on planet Earth. Because Edith, if you ever watched the show All in the Family, Edith is like this warm, loving, caring woman who's married to Archie, and Archie is kind of like Frank Barone, but also he's also caring and loving, but he just gives this tough love type thing. And every time I see them do a reenactment of an episode on the Family, anytime they cast an actress to play Edith, it's just like, you're not that actress. And as much as I'm a fan of Woody Harrelson, who could also play the producer in that superhero film, Woody Harrelson is an Archie Bunker. I'm sorry. Like, he just can't play that character. It's one of those things, like, if you... And I remember they tried to do a remake of it with, like, George Lopez. I'm just like, oh, hell no. Like, George Lopez is one of those guys who's just... It's not funny. I'm sorry, like... I liked him in the one movie he was in with Luke Wilson, the brother of Owen Wilson, but he's just not... George Lopez is not funny, in my opinion. So, yeah, it was just kind of how it is. Anyway, In the Batman in Smallville, Barbara Gordon is Nightwing. The introduction provides a version of traditional superhero meet cute. They meet, fight each other, band together, save the day, defeating the real villains, ending their confrontation with a newly found mutual respect. Batman's next appearance was in Effigy. The storyline teaming recurring Smallville characters Martian and Manhunter to solve a series of murders seemingly perpetrated by another Martian. Not only does this delve into the history of the fan-favorite characters for the 10 season series, but Batman himself is given a greater context within the overall world of Smallville. Batman no longer appears through the eyes of Superman alone, but instead through those of fellow detectives on his home turf of Gotham. While Batman briefly cameos in Hollow story arc, he does not play another prominent role until the events of Smallville Alien, the miniseries, which puts him on the trail of a multiverse murderer. I remember that story. That was a pretty good one, by the way. Hollow. Not Hollow, but the Alien miniseries, which was pretty cool. He comes across a body of a man who seems to be Clark Kent-like detective before it. Alien delves into what makes the continuities Bruce Wayne tick, but also giving him a chance to grow. By the end of the story, Bruce officially joins the Justice League, if only temporarily, to deal with the looming threat of motioners. It is satisfying development of for long-time fans. Leela woke up, by the way. I'll be right back. I have to go comfort the dog. She wakes up out of the sleep and starts barking. I don't know why. So I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. So, anyway. So, there's more. During the Lantern, newly found teamwork grows. Batman and Nightwing appears to defend Gotham from an army of Arkham inmates with yellow power rings, aided by Superman Watchtower. Newly introduced to Green Lantern Corps. While he isn't the primary focus of the arc, there's always particularly enhancing about the yellow power rings, tempting Batman to put it on, especially when he ends up intimidating into submission by his trademark scowl. So apparently this entire thing talks about the history of Batman in Smallville. Series 11 finale continuity. Batman fully comes into his role as a leaguer and as a partner to Clark. Not only do the two work together on strategy and defending motioners, monitors, it's ensured their universe, and let me check on Leo again, with Clark about the most important thing he could ask him is keeping Lois safe during the battle. Smallville fans particularly know there's no small request as the show's relationship between Clark and Lois. I remember people were like so into Clark and Lois. Like, they were like how Iris and Barry is. So, yeah, it was basically how it was. Like, a lot of people really, wanted them together. Lois and Clark. Over the course of the entire series, Bruce and Clark develop from enemies to allies into genuinely satisfying, if not understand, when they never met during the Smallville time on the small screen. But Series 11 goes into the show that these two heroes always will be. Anyway, yep. That was the show. Alright, I'm here. Someone was in my yard and shed. Weirdos. Anyway. So here's a question. What do you think of the Batwoman show? Hold on, I'm gonna open my window. It's getting warm outside. I was outside, so it's getting warmer. Okay, to answer your question about Batwoman, I will say this: I am generally disappointed with the way the show is. They gave it to people who, you know, clearly never read a comic. And thank you, Lola, for stepping on my computer. By the way, Lola's here. My cat. Anytime I open a window, she comes over and just, like, takes over the window. Like, lays her body in front of the window and... So, you know, Batwoman, I'm extremely disappointed with it. They gave it to people who never read comics. They only look at the social agenda, the social warrior agenda thing, like. And I even said it, you know, in past episodes, that it's going to suck. When the woman who created the show, who developed the show, was like, you know, not only she's a superhero, she's a lesbian. And it's like, what does the character's sexual orientation have to do with the superhero part? You know, you can make a character a lesbian, but also a good superhero character that you root for. I don't get it. You know, I really don't. And I feel bad for the actress who played Batwoman, because she got hurt during filming. She hurt her back in a stunt scene. And she had to get surgery and stuff. I feel bad for her. She seems like a nice person, I guess. I don't know, I never met her. And she dealt with a lot of criticism from people, like she's not, you know, saying like she's not Jewish, she's not lesbian enough to play Batwoman. And the thing is, the problem with it is, I said it before, and my niece, my second oldest niece, is a fan of Batwoman. I gave her comics that, you know, that involves Batwoman. You know, and it's a Detective Comics run, like they did, like James Tynion did a really good job writing Batwoman and the Bat Family and all that. And I wish he could do better with Batman now. Of course, I mean, I think the problem with Batman now, in the comics, is they don't involve a lot of the Bat Family. They don't really involve the Bat Family, like Robin. I mean, they took away Alfred, which was like the big support system for Batman. And they're more focused on, you know, testing, you know, going at the relationship of Batman and Catwoman. And it's like, if you take that away, then Batman has fucking nothing to fight for. I know a lot of people are like, Gotham. It's like, yeah, for Batman. What about Bruce Wayne? What is Bruce Wayne fighting for? You know? And I honestly think if they involve the Bat Family into the Batman comics, it would be something meaningful. And the family dynamic is sort of getting attacked a lot, in my opinion. And I honestly think if they just move forward and evolve these characters, it'd be something really wonderful and stuff. And when it comes to, the Batwoman part, she, the problem is they always put her in the shadow of Batman. From the beginning of the trailer of her saying the suit would look better on a woman, it's like, shut the fuck up. It's like, and that's the problem with it. They put her in the shadow, they always, like, you could create a strong female character where you don't have to, like, say, like, she has, disadvantages because she's a woman. It's like, bullshit. Buffy Summers is the most badass woman character on television. She kicked ass, took names, staked vampires, kicked the shit out of demons, and wham! She was a great character. Xena Warrior Princess. Like, you could create a badass female character without saying, like, she has disadvantages because she's in the shadows of a man. It's like, fuck off. I'm a dude saying you can create a badass female character without involving gender identity, stories and stuff. Barbara Gordon, Batgirl, didn't always have to be like, I'm in the shadow of Batman and Robin. I should fight crime. I deserve equality to fight crime. It's like, you didn't see that at all. The reason Barbara Gordon became Batgirl was to protect her father, her only family she has. Like, seriously, like, even Birds of Prey, Helena Wayne did not have daddy issues. The only thing she had that was, upsetting to her was that her father left after Selena died. And Alfred was like her grandfather that encouraged her, and she had Barbara. I never understood why they included Green Arrow and Black Canary's daughter. I never really understood that. To be honest with you, I never really understood it. I thought she kind of brought the show down. I know I sound like a jerk saying that, but I kind of honestly think I honestly think they should have done it with, you have Oracle, you had Black Canary, then all of a sudden Helena Wayne shows up, and she's learning from Oracle, who is sort of the big sister, type character. But the problem with, Batwoman, the show, was, they revealed Batman killed the Joker. That's why he left Gotham, was because he murdered the Joker. That made no sense when I heard that. And the problem with the show, with that being, is Batwoman should have been on her own. Like, she shouldn't have been, involved. They shouldn't involve Bruce Wayne, Batman, any of these things. Like, they should just kind of keep him at a far distance where he's still around. He's fighting crime. You don't see him much, but he sort of does like these check-ins on Kate and see how she's doing. Does she need any, Wayne Tech stuff to help? That type of thing. But I honestly think they should have just, like, tied the show in with Titans. I'll be honest with you. Like, I think if they tied the show in with Titans, where she shows up on Titans and Nightwing shows up, Jason Todd shows up, honestly think Jason kind of deserves his own show. I feel bad for the dude who played Jason on Titans. Like, they just shit on that character throughout that season 2. I just sat there going like, I fucking hate this season. I rewatched it. I mean, like, Hawk and Dove still deserve to die. Just fingers crossed for season 3. Like, I fucking hate Hawk and Dove. It's bad enough that the cartoon on Justice League Unlimited, Hawk and Dove are more badass on that show than they are in live action. Like, I hate Hawk and Dove. So anyway, let's get to the back issues. Back to the back issues, where I have 4 back issue comics. I know I was asked, like, what do you think is going to happen with Young Justice? They're probably going to set it 2 years later. Set it 2 years later just to confuse the hell out of the viewers on what's going on. So, I hate them more. I know. Like, their whole dynamic relationship makes absolute no fucking sense. Absolute no sense. Like, he gets mad because Dove leaves him because his drinking and drug problems and him sleeping with a truck stop waitress. It's like, well, no shit, dude. No wonder she left you, because you're baggage, basically. Like, and he hates Dick Grayson because Dick Grayson has his life in order. It's like, well, dude, he grew up with Batman. What do you think was going to happen? You know, I imagine Batman, wearing the bat suit and cowl in the cave talking, you better get your life in order or you're getting the fuck out of here. Like, that's how I imagined it. So, I kind of want to see that. I kind of want to see that scene in a dialogue now. So anyway, these are basically Batman the Animated Series. Or if he finds out, like, if you move in with Wonder Twins, you're out of my will. So anyway, a lot of these comics are from, comics I actually had when I was a kid. Actually, I kept these. Batman, the Animated Series ones. I like I said, I love Batman, the Animated Series ones. And this one I have is Batman and Robin Adventures, number 16. Batman Gotham Adventures. This one is set... Gotham Adventures is actually set in the continuity of the new Batman Adventures, which you had Tim Drake show up as now Robin, and you had Dick Grayson as Nightwing, Batgirl is around, and you had Batman. I really love... Sorry, I had to burp. I was laughing so hard at what I said. I had to burp. Batman Gotham Adventures number 3, which is one of my favorites. It's the toy cover. It's a toy box cover. Gotham Power Pack, Batman and the Grey Ghosts, which is really cool. I really like it. I really like the cover because it looked like an action figure toy cover, which is really one of my favorite covers. I remember Marvel did it with a lot of them, which was really cool. I wish DC would do that. It would be such a cool variant covers and stuff. I haven't got to read the new Batman comic, which is set in the animated series. I have not got to read that yet. I know Kevin Conroy did. He did a really cool narration of it, which I hope he does more of, because that'd be so cool. Just I would love to see like the cast who did the voices of Batman the animated series, like do the voices of each characters and stuff. Like, I know they had Bane in it, which is really cool, but if I had to like choose who would do the voice of Bane, would be Danny Trejo, because Danny Trejo did the voice for like Young Justice. I don't know if he did it for the new season, but Danny Trejo is awesome as Bane, man. Like, Danny Trejo is a badass. It's like, if you get Machete to do the voice of Bane, take my money. So I would love to see like the voice cast of the animated series do the voices and the characters and stuff. That'd be really cool, though. One comic I found that I've been looking for, basically feels like forever. Adventures in DC Universe #1. I love this cover because this is like the first issue of Adventures in DC Universe, which is set in the Batman Superman animated series universe. The reason I love the cover and all that is because some of these characters appeared in Justice League, and some of them didn't. Like Plastic Man, of course, appeared by cameo, like Batman saying Plastic Man's handling it. Green Lantern Kyle Rayner. One of my favorite Green Lantern characters. Hal Jordan, of course, is, the best. My Uncle Billy loved Green Lantern Hal Jordan, to the point where he joined the Air Force. Wanted to be a pilot, but ended up being a strategist, chief strategist type thing. So I always have a special place for Green Lantern. Like, I still think Green Lantern deserves a movie. Like, I look forward to the HBO Max TV series. But man, I still think they deserved a movie. Like, they deserve it. Like, I thought it was really cool that the Green Lanterns appeared in Justice League. So I mean, for me, I love this cover. It's very cool. It's very Alex Ross-ish looking cover. You got the entire Justice League on the cover, which I think is really cool. You got Zatanna, you got Shazam, you got Joker, for no obvious reason. You got Deadman. So I thought it was really cool. You got Batman, of course, in the classic Batman the Animated Series suit, which is really cool. Finally, Justice League Adventures, autographed by Rick Burchett, who I got this I was actually in person when I got this autographed. It was at the comic book convention at SCO Comics, where I met Stanton, who I talked to a lot, almost 2 hours. Joe Stanton, who did the Batman Catwoman wedding with Paul Levitz, the first time Batman and Catwoman got married. It was really cool meeting him. I got to meet Rick Burchett. Got to talk to him. Like, the dude did the Batman, Batman Adventures, comics that was tied in. He basically did a lot of Bruce Timm, Paul Dini cartoons and comics. Like, he was the go-to guy for that. And it was really cool talking to him. Like, he was, of course, there's a lot of people around that wanted to talk to him stuff. I was lucky enough to get to talk to him a bit. Stanton, I was so happy I got to talk to him and ask him questions about the Batman Catwoman getting married. Why did they take the cows off? And, like, all these things. It was really cool to talk to Joe Stanton and just really, get to hang out with him a little bit, and talk to him and stuff. He's really one of the nicest dudes on the planet. Like, he really is proud of, I think, what he did. Obviously, he had to be proud of what he did, So it was really cool getting to meet them. I didn't get to meet the guy who did the Simpsons comics because a lot of people were surrounding him and talking to him about the Simpsons and Matt Groening and all that. Like, it was really cool to hear that. And I also got to meet the dudes who are doing the Dick Tracy comics. So my dad was excited because my dad's a big fan of the Dick Tracy comics, the classic film series and stuff. Like, it was funny though. My dad was like, I didn't know they fucking did Dick Tracy still. and the guy who wrote it was like laughing. He's like, oh, I got a free issue here. My dad's like, I gotta read this. It was funny though. Like, it's kind of funny though. Like, that was like the oddest. Like, the funniest thing about that. I guess I'll do the Frank Miller Batman script on Monday. I'll talk about the STL comics because after reading about pimps, transvestites, and drug dealers in Batman Year One Frank Miller movie script, I need a break. Talk about something upbeat. Upbeat and positive. It was actually funny though, like when the comic book convention, it was like actually the first time my dad stepped into like what I'm into. Like, I'm always into, like, I always go to the things that he goes to, like the Bass Pro Shop, which I like fishing. I really do. I don't like, I like fishing. I'm just, I just can't open up a can of stink bait and smell it like he can. The funniest thing ever, like he said, was about stink bait. You gotta make sure your hook gets the right stank. I don't know what the hell that meant. And of course I had to make a comeback comment where I was like, well, if you use your socks, I'm sure all the fish would pop up. But it was really cool though. Like, it was funny though, like one of the comics I saw, some of the comics I bought the Gotham City Sirens #1, which was really cool. Like, I was so happy I found it. $40 I spent. That was actually the most I ever spent on a comic until Batman Elmer Fudd, where it was sold out of all comic shops. I had to go on Amazon to buy it. One of the comics I wish I would have bought, looking back on it, was James O'Barr's The Crow comic, or The Walking Dead #1. Lowell? My cat just jumped right at me. She hears something in the woods. She's thinking it's Romeo walking through the woods. Almost headbutted me. So, The Walking Dead #1 I saw, and there was a part of me I wish I would have bought it, but part of me I glad I didn't buy it, because I like the Walking Dead TV show. I like the Telltale video game. Speaking of Telltale, there are a lot of rumors are going around that they might be working on Batman Season 3, which I think would be fantastic, in my opinion. I honestly, they would put out a Batman Telltale game before WB Montreal ever will. Which WB Montreal could take their time, If I see Batman Season 3 announced and it's coming out hypothetically the end of this year, I'd be like, well, shit, take my money, dude. So here is the article about it. Another announcement of a Batman speculation. This time, however, it has nothing to do with Rocksteady nor WB Montreal's longtime rumor project. Thanks to the update profile of Facebook, Facebook and Twitter, Telltale is resets to the forefront for the latest Dark Knight. Yesterday, the studio switched its Facebook image covers to one of the Batman with Enemy Within Season 2, starring the Dark Knight, and with a heavy focus on the John Doe, aka the Joker character. Specifically, the image is Batman and the Vigilante Joker from one of Season 2's ending, depending on the player's decision. Joker did not become a vigilante in my version of Batman. I didn't have the Joker vigilante. I accidentally did once, but I hated it, so I had to restart the entire season. Because I did not want the vigilante Joker. I just wanted straight up psycho Joker. That's what I wanted. So, depending on the player's decision, some fans naturally are starting to wonder if this might be a Season 3 tease. Geeks Worldwide writer spotted this, so the Facebook profile has the Wolf Among Us character. I know they're working on Wolf Among Us 2, and now they're working on Batman. I guess they're now announcing they're going to Batman next. I guess that's how it is. I guess they're announcing it. Companies holding LCG Entertainment do in fact have the rights to Batman when they purchased the reformed Telltale last year. Maybe the team wants a public image to be better reflecting on the catalog. I will say this. Of course, they did do the Shadow Edition, which is $4.99. I have not got to get the Shadow Edition purchase. I still have the two, Batman games. I actually have Season 1 digitally, and I have the physical copy of it because it was at the time when Telltale, of course, was going out of business. I was I gotta find every Telltale physical copy game and buy it, because there was this, I think, speculation and rumor all Telltale games are gonna be gone. So I was I gotta find it. So for me, I would love to see a Season 3. Of course, I have the comic. We have the comic, actually. Me and my Catwoman have the comic of Batman Telltale comic. And, of course, Batman takes on Deadshot, which was a really cool story, by the way. But the world of Batman and Telltale is so rich, awesome, exciting, and there's so much more to tell in this version of Batman. There's so much story and dialogue. Where will this go? I would love to see where Batman Telltale goes. I want to see where it goes. I want to see a lot of the characters come back. I'd love to see Batman, Catwoman, Gordon, Alfred, Lucius Fox's daughter. I'd love to see Penguin show up. I'd love to see Harvey Dent show up. Two-Face, Joker, Harley. Their version of Harley in Telltale was really cool and badass, and I'm surprised it never caught on in comics and in entertainment media. To be honest with you, I'm surprised about that. I would love to see Bane show up, and I would love to see Bane in the Batman movie. I would love to see that version of Bane in the Batman movie. And a lot of people have been asking me, like, who would you cast as... I would love to see Mr. Freeze show up, in fact. My favorite, Mr. Freeze. A lot of people have been asking me, like, who would you cast as, like, Freeze, Bane, Harvey Dent, and Joker and stuff. Dave Bautista as Bane. Like, I honestly think Dave Bautista would be great as Bane. Like, if they did the Luchador Bane from, like, Telltale and incorporated, because, like, Dave Bautista himself is a wrestler, and even in the Batman Telltale Enemy Within, Bane is a wrestler who becomes a mercenary. So, why not do that? So, Michael Fassbender as Mr. Freeze. Joker, I know a lot of people want Johnny Depp as Joker. Johnny Depp would be cool as like another character. Like, I don't want to see him as Joker. I honestly think if you cast him as like Hugo Strange, I think he would do far better. Like, I think you need to give like Johnny Depp a character that's challenging for him, not something that's already been done and where he would do his interpretation of it. I honestly think I think Johnny Depp should play Hugo Strange, in my opinion. That is basically who I would want to see Johnny Depp play as Hugo Strange. Joker, you kind of need like an older, like I agree, you do need an older Joker who has been around but never been noticed. And I don't want to see Joaquin Phoenix as Joker and Robert Pattinson's Batman, in my opinion. Now, you need somebody like, I think honestly the guy who played Pennywise should play Joker, in my opinion. Like, you need someone who's a bit crazy, somebody, like that. But yeah, I mean, like that's who I think would play, Joker. But I don't know. Where do I think the season 3 would go? I want to see them do Hush. Like, I know a lot of people want to see like Court of Owls or something. Like, I think if they do season 3 involving Hush, where it's like somebody who is from Bruce Wayne's past who knows everything about him, be really cool, and who knows everything about Batman by studying him, would be really cool. So anyway, yeah. So anyway, we're gonna be wrapping up the podcast episode, and I didn't get to read the script for Batman Year One. I'm actually kind of glad I didn't, because that script is crazy. So anyway, we'll be back Monday. We're not doing an episode tomorrow. Tomorrow is my nephew's birthday, so I'm going to be hanging out with him. And I need to buy him a birthday gift tomorrow. So I won't be doing a show tomorrow. I will be hanging out with my nephew, my youngest nephew's birthday, and dropping off a gift to him. There's no birthday party, oddly enough. I'm just going there, dropping off the gift, give him a hug, a birthday card. Because, the happy birthday, Robin. Yeah, he is my Robin. It kind of sucks, though, with the social distancing and stuff, like, but, I know he's excited. I finally figured out what I'm getting him for his birthday. I am buying him the Joker gun that has the crazy string and water, shoots water or crazy string. I think he would get a kick out of that. I think he would be torturing everybody with it, but so yeah, that's what I'm getting him for his birthday. So I know my sister said get him a Nerf gun, or I was like, no, like Joker gun be fun, you know. So yeah, I'll be back Monday. I will read the Batman Year One script. I don't look forward to it. It's gonna be crazy. So anyway, I'll be back Monday, and I hope everybody has a great Friday and weekend. So, see y'all Monday.